Steve Evans, that's a huge victory.
Yeah, it is. You know, we said over a week ago to the group that it was 3 big games, but the cherry on the cake was waiting for us in Swindon Town. I think they've got some real top players. They play a real style of football, and they're backed by huge support, aren't they, and good investment from the owners. So we knew we had to produce a good performance today to compete with them, and we did produce a good performance. And you know, I think in spells we had them on the ropes a little bit. I think in a period in the second half they had a little spell against us, and we had to think about the skipper because he'd been on a booking, so we had to change a little bit, and we perhaps more in the first half than the second half allowed ourselves to be frustrated with some decisions that were inconsistent against us, but we dealt with that. And I think as soon as the second goal went in, the question in my head was, would we score 3 or 4 rather than concede? So considering how good a side they are, then it's credit to the dressing room.
It was very accomplished, wasn't it, from front to back, the defence. I mean, it was another clean sheet, but they were worthy of it and didn't look like conceding.
Yeah, and there was big, you know, before the game, we had this morning and Thursday and Friday, we had brilliant debates. We Rains and Revs and Pledge about the team. Big decisions to consider how good Michael Boswick was on Tuesday to put him on the bench, and considering I had to make a decision which the medical staff and the doctor left to me as to whether we involve Luke. And I think as an experienced manager more than a young manager, I think you put the well-being of the player in front rather than anything else. And we thought about Luke and his baby and his young partner, and we said no, he's not going to be. But my God, he was good in training yesterday, so he'll be ready for proper training for Monday.
How good was Jordan Roberts?
Yeah, Jordan's a top player. I took him, as you know, in a loan spell to Gillingham. It would be, if I told you the figure, it was embarrassing why we didn't retain him, but we didn't. So we always felt that there was a good player there. I kept in touch with his performances up in Scotland. Good friend of mine, Robbie Nielsen, is a manager up at Hearts, of course, was at MK Dons locally. And I always kept in touch with Jordan as well on a personal level. So when I got the opportunity to speak to him, and you know, given his family are from just north of Watford, then I thought it would have been, I had a big chance of getting him, considering he had multiple choices in League One, multiple. And I think when he called me up, he said he wanted to come back and play for me. So that was great to hear, and he's produced it in his performance. He's been, for the last 3 weeks, he's been outstanding.
There were some players out there, they probably had rough spells this afternoon, and then they overrode them, and perhaps the 2 big ones were Alex Gilby and Saxon Early, but you kept faith in them. Yeah, listen, they're both good players, aren't they? Gilby's a top player, and I said to him, I gave him a little bit at half time and said his performances are at the highest level normally, and when he dips he becomes an average player in League 2. That first half he became an average player, but I think he produced a real mature performance in the second half. He became outstanding for the team rather than personal, because he sat in there and he controlled a lot of what we did in the middle with Jake Reeves, and I thought he did very well today as well. I thought he looking a little bit tired 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we utilised the squad to leave Jake out, but I thought he responded in the week after I had a personal one-on-one chat with him. He responded with a big performance. And listen, I don't moan about any of them, because they're a fantastic group. They're working so hard, and I just said to him, if anything now we can't work harder, but we need to work smarter in games. Is that a statement to the rest of the league?
No, we don't make statements. We're not sitting here at anything other than got an ambition to be in that top half of the table towards the top 10 when it's all in wraps in early May. So from that point of view, will I look at the league table when I go home? Shall I join the clan? And say no. Of course we will. And it's, if you can't be top, why not be second? If you can't be second, why not be third? That's always the stance I've had to players from the first day to the last day. And but we've got lots of big games coming. We've got a real challenging run coming of games. We've had a challenging week, but we've got a free week now, so we can do some smart work, not hard work, but smart work on the training ground. I can freshen some of the players up, I can work the other ones, and we can be ready to go to Priestfield, which, you know, all bar one person, it's very close to my heart. And I look forward to seeing a lot of friends who I know would have been, I don't even know how they've gone today, but they'd have been travelling to Crewe to watch their team. And so we'll go there, but we'll focus on the game, we'll focus on the 90 minutes and nothing around it.
message for the Stevenage fans? They were behind your side all the way today. We still need to get more down here at the Lamex, though.
I said to you, they didn't come for 5 years, and if I lived round the corner, I wouldn't have come. And the great Bill Shankly once said, if Everton were playing at the bottom of his garden, he'd shut the curtains. And so maybe if I'd been here for 5 years, I'd have shut the curtains and watched the telly. But there's no need to shut the curtains now, is there? You know, there's some very big local hordes of supporters travel every week to watch the great Arsenal and Tottenham teams, but they don't always play at 3 o'clock on a Saturday when we're here. They don't always play on a Tuesday night, certainly. And we love to see them. You know, if you've got Stevenage at heart, come and help us, because we're going to need help. We can't keep producing victory after victory here at the Lamex. Although when you speak to your chairman, he says it's the expected. It's not the expected. And he knows. We have a touch of realism. He knows that it's really hard for us. But I outlined earlier in the week to him that going to Crawley, our old club, you always get a real tough game. I knew that Sutton, very physical and very direct, and you've seen today from a top Swindon, I can't pay them enough compliments, a top Swindon side who play in a contrasting way to Sutton, but I would say more effectively.
Well done today, Steve.